Welcome to this session on tracking assets in spaces. So in this session, we're going to place some objects in the model, basically equipment that is needed in the food market or grocery store. And so we're going to just start by going up to the Object tool. And if we look at the different catalog types in here, we have one called Retail Specialty. And that has a number of different sort of cases and coolers used in grocery stores, as well as different display shelves and stands and so forth. So we're just going to select various items from here. For instance, a case like this, we could place, perhaps one in our deli area and one in our bakery area. We have various coolers, might place back here in our beverage and frozen food areas. And I'm just going to place a number of different items, and then we'll go in and again take a look in the schedules dialog and see how we can track data that is on each of these objects. Okay, so now that I have some equipment laid out in the food market, let's go take a look at some of the data. Now before I do that, I am going to open my reference dialog and turn the locate off on my reference files, just so that information doesn't come up in our data. I'm then going to the Data Reporting tab. I'm going to open the Schedules dialog. And note that now I do have the catalog type Retail Specialty listed. I've also got some multi-category schedules. So these have been set up and they will find, for instance, fixtures by space, and they include both our retail specialty fixtures as well as the shelving fixtures, which was another catalog type. But we've combined those into a single schedule. I'm going to go ahead and select the fixtures by space. And what that's going to do is give me a list of all the equipment I've placed in the model. So note here in the instance name or the instance description are the different items that were placed. Over here on the left is the count, and it also lists the space where those items are located. And we had some data on those items before we placed them, such as type IDs and so forth. So you notice that we're combining space information and the equipment information and putting the two together. So let's take a look at that particular layout and its properties. I'm going to use the Modify tab to open that up. So we can see here on the catalog types, we have both catalog types included in this particular layout, the Retail Specialty, which was most of the equipment, but then also the shelving. And they have similar properties, and so we can select some of those properties, but we are including the space number, the label, even the actual area of the space where each piece of equipment exists, along with the equipment name and description, type ID, length, dimension, and notes. And then on the sorting and grouping tab, we're actually using the space number to sort those. I'm going to add another sort criteria here, which would be the space label. And I'm actually going to sort that one to the top so it sorts first. And I'm going to mark those to be headings, and you'll see what that does when we go back in there. It creates a heading, makes this data a little bit easier to read. So let's go ahead and select OK, and we'll watch this refresh. And you can see here now we get a heading that begins to sort out our data. So for instance, for the bakery, which is space number S04, we can see we have one of this case type G, which is a deli island, and we have 6 of these display tables half round, which are these three here. And we can go through each space like that and see exactly what equipment has been placed in each space. So if we go down here, let's take a look at this, the wine and beer space over here, and we just have this one piece of equipment here, which is a shelf. Or if we look at the meat and seafood, we have the shelves, which are here. You can see on that side of the space line. And we have one display stand or wire rack. So let's close this. Let's just make a few adjustments. So for instance, I'm going to copy one of these island display stands over into my seafood area, rotate that around. Let's open up our schedules again and select our fixtures by space. We'll scroll down to the meat and seafood, and we can see there's our new case type G, the deli island, has now been added to that space. And just a reminder, when you have equipment like this in a file, you can also link data to the actual cell. For instance, we might have a cut sheet or a manufacturer's manual that we would like to actually link to the equipment, and we can do that by simply right-click on the cell in the model, and we can select the Add Link option here. We're going to link this from a file. So I've got a PDF of a cut sheet in my workset folder. Of course, it could be a Word file, an Excel spreadsheet. So in this case, we're going to use this island reference PDF. Select Open. We'll select OK and OK. And now we get a link actually showing up on the equipment. And I could just click on that link and open it up. And there, go directly to that cut sheet for some more information on the object. So a lot of ways to track information on equipment, furniture, those kind of objects that you have in your model, and you oftentimes have a great deal of data that goes along with that, along with just tracking how many of those elements you have, which ones, which model numbers, and so forth. And of course, it all can be associated with the particular space to which it belongs.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.